Hello, everybody, and we're live. Thanks for joining us in this latest masterclass session as part of the Recruiter Zone series. We've got 16 of these shows. Thanks to those of you who are joining us live. Say hi in the chat, and I can see a couple of you here. Thank you, Tony, for popping in the chat, and Chris. And there's others who are watching us on LinkedIn. I'm going to pop over to LinkedIn in a minute and let you know where we are. Dave is going to be sharing his slides in just a moment, and I'm going to disappear off screen. I think, Dave, how long does your session last?
Probably 20 minutes, 25 minutes with a bit of classic Dave waffle.
Superb. Okay, great. So that'll be fab. I will disappear while that's happening. I'm just going to move Dave and I off to the side of the stage. So I'm going to come back at the end. Dave, we can see your slides. I'm going to take myself off screen now. And if you want to crack on, when you finish, I'll come back on stage.
Brilliant. Thank you, Louise. Thank you very much. And hello, everyone. So I am Dave Jenkins, CEO and founder of Wave, and welcome to Wave's Masterclass. As you can see, it all starts with a great ad, and I want to kind of cover off why that's important, because I know that there's lots of claims around, recruiters not being copywriters and perhaps sometimes don't have time to write beautifully crafted ads, and that really it's about speed and getting in front of candidates and speaking to them. But I want to just kind of cover off some of the reasons why I think it is important, and I think actually it will be beneficial. So hopefully we'll cover some of that today. Right, let's see if here we are. Hopefully you're not too disappointed. There are other slides, so you don't have to be staring at me this whole time. But really just wanted to kind of look at what a great ad will do, and there's a few things that I think it does. It does do really. So firstly, a great ad will bring you the right candidates, maybe not better candidates, but the right candidates in terms of they're relevant to the job that you're advertising for. And that's the first kind of thing that you want, really. You put an ad out and you want to get someone that has the skills and experience that you're actually looking for. I think you'll get better candidates in terms of more qualified candidates, better suited candidates to the roles that you're advertising for, because candidates will see the time and the investment that you've placed into getting an ad out that gives the candidates the information that they're looking for. Good candidates can be fairly picky and choosy with what they want. So an ad that conveys everything that they want to see and want to read will give them confidence that you understand the role, and it gives them the feeling that you're invested in recruiting and filling that particular vacancy. And I think you'll also attract better clients, because a client will look at that ad and they'll see, if it's the ad that you're recruiting for them, then they'll see that you understand the role, that you're invested in filling that role for them, and that you've got a good understanding about what they're looking for. And sometimes, really clients just want to portray and communicate what it is about their business that's really important. And sometimes that can be missed from when a recruiter is representing their brand. And perhaps you'll even attract other clients, because other businesses will see the craft that has gone into that particular ad, and they'll know that you understand the company, and that you are invested. I've used that word a few times, but really clients want you to give them the best possible service. And by seeing an ad that you've taken the time to understand the roles and the responsibilities of that particular position, then it will give them some more confidence. And hopefully, if you get better candidates, better clients, then you'll make some more placements. You would hope. That there's also something fairly nostalgic about a recruitment ad. I'm sure most of you have seen a recruitment ad once upon a time that you liked and responded to and applied to, and maybe your life changed forever as a result of that. And that an ad has that power to do that. And I bet that ad that you responded to wasn't actually just a copy and pasted job description either. So it does make a difference. And as part of the title, it does all start with a great ad, and that's what we're going to cover off today. Hopefully get you guys writing some great ads after this. So we've got tactics, conversions, keywords, and ROI, and there's clicks to apply, and there's applications, and all sorts of buzzwords and keywords. And it's really easy sometimes to forget that really the bigger picture of this is all people. So we replace all four of those words with people. And the point I was making previous, that it's about creating an ad that people respond to, they look at, and potentially it goes on to change their lives, and potentially yours as a consultant as well, because maybe you would have made a placement with a client that goes on to give you a lifelong worth of jobs to work on. So we can get caught up with making sure we've got keywords in there, and with conversion and ROI and tracking this, and but really, what I want to just try and communicate is that we're writing ads for other people. So when you write an ad, remember that there is a person at the other end of that reading that, and hopefully you're engaging with them. And really, I guess I'm saying, write your ads as if you're pitching to them, right in front of your face. So, to keep that in mind as we go through all of the various different hints and tips that I'm going to give you. Just bear in mind that we're writing for people. So keep it interesting. So I've got a few different checklists to get through actually. So firstly, let's start off with some content basics, and you can see there we've got 6. Kind of mentioning some as we go, but let's start from the top, which is the job title. And really, this is a bit of a boring recommendation, but keep your job title standard. Keep it as the role that it actually is. And if you're recruiting for a retail assistant, then put the job title as retail assistant. Avoid the temptation to write retail ninja or retail guru or something that sounds great, but actually no one's searching for it. And you can tell really quickly, but if someone's searching for your ad by just going onto the job board and typing in retail assistant. And if you see it appear on the kind of the drop down, you'll know that the job board has that particular job title indexed. Therefore, when you post a job for retail assistant, it will already know what that job is for. If you don't see it there, then basically the job board's saying, I don't know what this job is. And it will then attempt to match the two together as best you can. So, I mean, if you posted a job of retail ninja, then you might find that you're getting applications from people with a martial arts background, because it's linked the word ninja to martial arts. So it's trying to match them, but really, that's not what you're looking for. So keep your job titles regular, I guess. No special characters, no sort of trying to sell it in the job title, amazing retail assistant or super job, retail assistant or urgent or anything like that. Just keep it to the job title, and that will help the job board to index your the job that you posted. Next one is location. And again, with some of these recommendations that I'm giving you here, it's as much for the job board in order to understand where that job is, what the job title is, and the salary, which we'll talk about. So you want to try and help the job board match what you're looking for with all the candidates that they've got registered or are searching that particular site. So a location helps with Google for Jobs for a start, but it will also help the job board identify where the candidates are in relation to where the job is that you're advertising for. Some boards will encourage you to put in a postcode, and there is sometimes a reluctance to put in the full postcode because you're sort of fearful that you start broadcasting the client's location that you're recruiting for, but it won't actually display the whole postcode. But again, it will help it to index and understand where that role is, and you'll see an increase in response. If you're advertising for a remote role or work from home, add that to the top of the actual job itself. A lot of job boards are now giving you the opportunity to click or check a box to say that it is remote. We're going to talk a little bit more about that a little bit later on down the line, but make sure that you add the location wherever you can. Hopefully you know where it is. If you don't know where the job is, then go back to a client and ask a few more questions. Salary, this is really contentious. It always is. You sort of look on LinkedIn and you see lots of discussion about whether it should or it shouldn't. General consensus seems that it should be on there, but it's a very sort of hotly, it's a bit of a contentious issue depending on what's going on within the business. Wherever you can, always add the salary. If you can't add the exact salary, then put a salary range. You can see there that you can see a 20 to 30% uplift in applications when the salary is there. Some job boards put that number even higher, got to sort of 40, 50% increase on responses. So it is really, really important to add. It also acts as a little bit of a filter later on down the line. So you know that you're not going to be receiving applications from candidates whose salary expectations are completely different from the actual role itself. Copy length. So we don't want to bore candidates to tears, and that often happens by pasting in a job description from straight over from the client. It also shows that you haven't, as I've mentioned earlier, maybe understood the role completely and know what the best parts are. So it's going to put candidates off. You've also got to think about a lot of candidates now. Most candidates will apply for jobs or at least browse for jobs on their mobile. So think about the scrolling factor of a very, very long and boring job. It's not going to get you many candidates at all. We see that on average, it's around 150 to 350 words is the kind of optimum length. But of course, those 150 to 300 words have to be interesting as well, which we will talk about shortly. But definitely, whenever you do not paste in a job description ever again. Keywords is another hot topic. Once upon a time, you could sort of stuff keywords into your job ad, change all the words into to white, and away you go. You would be found very, very quickly for those types of roles or for that keyword that you've done. Job boards have come a long way since you're able to get away with that sort of stuff. But it's really important to make sure that you are mentioning keywords throughout your ad, but not overly going over the top with them. So 1 to 2 major keywords per ad will be sufficient, and that should get you found. But again, you can be penalized if you put too many in over the same word, but it just reads bad as well. So you're not only going to get penalized, but you're also going to have a really strange sounding advert, and the candidates will be cut off from that pretty swiftly. Bullet points. So last point in this section, they're great for sort of breaking up the copy of the text. So again, you don't have to write a kind of a whole journal for your ad, and you can use bullet points to keep it very short and succinct. We don't recommend really using any more than 5 kind of per list, and we'll talk about lists in a minute, but it does enable a candidate to quickly skim over what they are, what you're advertising, and gives them some fast information, and they can make a a decision on whether or not they want to apply for that role. So, content-wise, just a very quick couple of slides around what candidates actually want to know. And there's 5 elements here. These aren't in any particular order, but I would think kind of 1 and 2 are pretty topical at the moment. Certainly, whether or not it's remote working or there's hybrid working, we are seeing a lot of candidates now really focusing in on whether or not it's hybrid, remote, or in the office. So that's a really big thing for candidates, that they want to see that. Again, flexibility. This is kind of all come out of kind of post-COVID, when things have become a little bit more flexible. So can the hours be shortened? Can they kind of choose when they go into the office? Can they start later certain days? That's kind of the 2 main most important things. Obviously, salary is important, and they want to know what sort of salary is going to be around. And then the next 2 is to know what you're looking for, what the actual experience of the role is required. And we're in a time when it's very difficult to recruit the people that you want. So we really sort of recommend speaking to the client and really discussing whether or not all of those skills and experiences are absolute essentials, and maybe you can have a discussion around what is optional or nice to have. So again, keep the necessary experience to really necessary, or you're going to start the pool of candidates that you're going to look for will be shrinking pretty quickly. And then the key responsibilities, what am I doing in this particular job? So it's a fairly obvious one, but can be missed. So candidates want to know, what am I doing? And again, don't list out every single thing that they're going to do. So keep to the key responsibilities, the main responsibilities of that particular role, rather than every last one. And this is why, because we see 50% of candidates don't apply for a job if all these 5 elements are not in the actual job. And when we've done an audit for some of our clients, we'll see that sometimes there's 3, there's 4 elements of within the actual job, but 1 or 2 have been missed. So I would recommend just have that little list of on the previous slide as by your side when you're writing your ads, and just check those off as you go. Okay, so we've done the basics. We know what candidates want to know. Let's just get through how to structure your ad, and we'll kind of go through this, some of the areas we've already covered. But first line, first sentence or 2 is really your elevator pitch. You want to hook candidates in. You want to keep them reading. Sometimes the first sentence or 2 will be on the preview before they even go into an ad. And you'll use this opportunity to try and be a little bit different as well. So, a very exciting, fast-paced role for my client is already been overused, to say the least. So try and use something slightly different around this role, and what's kind of maybe a little bit unique about this role and this particular business. Selling the company, so go through everything that you can, and this will hopefully be pulled out when you're taking the brief from the client. But really understand the role, the business, the culture, and use that to craft your actual ad. So why someone would be interested in this position, what the culture is like, and is it a very fast-paced culture? Is it a kind of caring culture? Is it team based? So really try and understand and weave into your ad why someone should work at this company rather than the next one. Kind of going back a little bit to what candidates are actually interested in and what they want to see, but we're coming back to the responsibilities, and as I mentioned earlier, keep it to the five main responsibilities. So don't list out the whole job description, as I had mentioned. So just have that in mind of what they're going to be doing, and don't have any more than five. If you want to keep into the bullet points, keep those as well. I think it's really important, and this may be the relationship that you have with the client, but really to understand what is essential and what is nice to have. Again, something you mentioned before. It's very easy to get carried away when you're looking at a role that you want to recruit for. They have to have this and this and this and this and this, and it'd be great if they had this, and you end up building almost an impossible ad for yourself, or a brief for yourself, because those candidates, there may be one or two in the country that have all of those 10 skills that you want. So really, really kind of drill down on what is the essential skills and experience that they have to have. And then, you can kind of cover the rest on a nice to have, wherever wherever you can kind of fit it in. And of course, if candidates have more experience than less, then that's only a good thing. But you don't want to put people off because you've asked for 10 skills and actually they only have 8. And if push comes to shove, I'm sure you probably still want that candidate. So it's important to have that kind of understanding with the client and not to restrict yourself too much. Best bit. So finish the ad. Notice it says that lose the ad. You definitely don't lose the ad. We've come 24 minutes in and suddenly we lose the ad. So always save it. Does it actually close the ad with benefits that the candidate's going to get? So try and not include the things that come as standard. So obviously everyone has holiday, everyone now has a pension. So, kind of add only the things that are additional to the role. But also think about talking about the culture of the role. So if there's not a huge amount of a long list of benefits, free gyms and whatever, keep it to talking about the culture of the business and why it's such a great place to work. And of course, I mentioned earlier, the flexible working is such a big thing now. So if you offer that, then include it on the ad. If you don't offer that, then I would still just set out the requirements of the role, because again, you're kind of kicking a problem further on down the line that's going to come back if someone wants to work in the office 1 day a week, but the role requires them to absolutely work 5 days a week, then you're going to have a problem further on down the line. So you may as well be upfront and open about that in the first instance. And then kind of lastly, often gets overlooked this. You've done everything prior to this, you've got all of the things in there, and then you kind of make it really difficult for a candidate to apply. So this moves beyond the ad, but every time someone clicks on an apply link, whether or not it's on a job board, and you take them to someone else, you're losing about 50% of those people. So if you're asking them to click 2 or 3 times to register or go through a complex online form, then bear in mind that you're whittling down that number fairly quickly, because you're losing 50% each time. So keep it really simple for people to apply, capture their details, and then you can speak to them and you can assess whether or not they are suitable for the role or not. But keep it really, really simple. Once you captured them this far, it's a shame to lose out on them right at the last minute. So I'm flying through that. I think I said it would be 20. I can't remember how many minutes I said now. Louise will tell me. But we're 25 minutes or so in. So pretty much there. Very, very quick run through of everything. Hopefully you found that useful and interesting. So structure your job. Make sure you take some time to actually write the ad carefully, and always do a spell check as well. Always useful to do, because you don't want to post an ad and then have to change it, get charged another credit or whatever, just because you made a spelling error. Keep it short, concise, no job descriptions. Make sure you're working with the job boards to know when to post and where to post. And hopefully, if you do all of that, we're getting better candidates, we're getting the right candidates, clients are impressed with your ad writing, and ultimately you are making more placements. Thank you very much. I can't see Louise, so
I'm here.
Oh, there she is. Yeah.
I'm on stage. Dave, I'm removing your slides from the stage. So if you want to close down that screen, it will just be you and me. Thank you for doing that. I did a little poll while you were speaking about salary information, because it's a big discussion at the moment about whether it should be law to add a salary to a job advert. Got a very, very overriding response here of yes, it should be law. Everyone here who's watching thinks it ought to be essential. I know it's more complicated than us just going, put salary on.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's, it just sort of, it's a shame, to be honest, that you have to try and make it law. It's a bit bonkers, really. It should just be something that people do, and it's just something that's done. But I think we've got ourselves sometimes in the bit of a pickle with what's happening in certain companies, and sometimes they don't want to say, and it's not really right. It should just be. It should be as normal as saying where the job is. Put a salary.
I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? I've got this job, right? And it's somewhere in the world. And after you've applied, I'll tell you whether you're sort of in the right range.
Yeah. Well, it's really strange. But, the problem is that it actually doesn't help anyone. Because if someone's applying for 100K, if someone's expecting 100K and they're applying for a 30K job and they're a great candidate, you're just having an awkward conversation further on down the line, and you sort of everyone's wasted their time. So,
let's see where it goes.
I don't know.
No, okay, but what you're saying is 50% of candidates won't apply for a job if these 5 components aren't listed, and salary was one of those. So be the recruiter who manages to pull that out. I actually laughed out loud. It was a good job I was muted when you said, if you don't know where the job's located, ask the client. Because I have worked with recruiters who haven't thought to ask that question and have been writing the advert when they suddenly thought, oh, hold on, where is this job?
And it actually, it happens more than you think, because, sometimes clients have more than one office. So if you're where will it be based? And, again, you can post an ad with the wrong location in, you have to change it. It's another credit. So all of these things can also save you money in terms of your advertising expenses as well. So,
yeah. Perfect. So the other thing I'd really like to get out of you for when I post this as the part of the overall content is those 5 things a list, and then the second half of that presentation, those bullet points are list. I think they'd be really nice 2 graphics side by side. I loved how you did your graphics, and if job adverts could be like your presentation, where there's text, which is a job advert, and a little person in a bubble reading out some information. Now, they'd get good return rates, wouldn't they?
Yeah, that would. I mean, it's funny because there was a trial, wasn't there, where people were able to record little videos and they would go on ads as well. I think that will come, but I think we're a bit, it was a bit too early, and the challenge is on video, of course, doing stuff like this. You get judged on how you're actually delivering this ad. And so suddenly you have to become an actor or an actress to actually deliver this particular opportunity, that's a whole different kettle of fish, isn't it?
It is. And I think that for a corporate recruiter, it's very challenging because you've got all the guidelines around how you present your content as an organisation, your branding. And as an agency recruiter, it's worse because you've got to represent your client in the way they want to be represented. And you've got to be incredibly professional in that. And if, not everyone has a really nice space to work where they could record videos for clients. So it's putting limiting factors on. But we all know that people want to get their content, their adverts in more than one media. They want to be able to see it and read it and hear it.
I think, a lot of this is, again, it's much bigger than just an ad. You've got to follow through with everything else in terms of when you apply, what's the experience then? When do people come back to you? When are they having conversations? So, the ad is the starting point, and, it works pretty well. It's just, there's a chance that everything else just starts to fall down in terms of, how quickly do you go back from a day, 2 days, 3 days? What's the quality of information you've got when you speak to them? It gets harder as the process goes along.
Yep. Okay, well, I thought that was absolutely brilliant. Really, really useful. You did manage to cram that in really fast. No, not fast. The right pace, loads of information in a short amount of time. Like I say, this is going out on LinkedIn. It's going to be a part of a blog post. It's going to go in the newsletter. So lots of people will be watching this much further down the line. If they want to get in touch with you and know more, Dave, what do they do?
Find me on LinkedIn, Dave Jenkins, Wave, or go to our website, www.wave-rs.co.uk. Easy.
Okay, I'm going to make certain that both of those links are shared in this so that people can find them afterwards. Thanks so much for taking part in this. I appreciate you having given up the time to do that. And I'll see you again soon.
Super. Thank you, everyone. Bye, Louis.
Thanks. Bye-bye.